G'day YouTubers, and thank you for tuning in to today's very hot different video on YouTube. Sorry, that was a very rough and ready opening. And yes, it is of course another hot day. Obviously, again, we're still up into the 30s and it is so highly humid like never ever before. I think tomorrow we should be a bit more fresher. Maybe hovering 25 to 27 degrees Celsius, but it's still on the warm side. Hopefully we can get back into some sun intervals, and also the weather should revert back to normal around Sunday, at least, of course, because it has been very extraordinarily hot, like never ever before. It has been so hot, so unusually hot that the hot air coming all the way from the tropics, no, I would probably say more like the Saharan desert, like, countries like Senegal and Niger and Mali and Egypt and Morocco, of course. I mean, I wouldn't say they are responsible, but of course, yes, it's climate change and global warming that's basically fueling the intensity of these types of atmospheric events. It's becoming a bloody nightmare, isn't it? Who knows about that? But anyways, we've got some nasturtiums and hanging baskets. Likely enough, I've decided to take a bit of refuge from being too hot indoors, because obviously indoors is also very hot as well, so you need a big balance to try and take a bit of it, I suppose. So I need to drink as much water as I can because it is absolutely deadly hot, of course. And we've got this here as well, more nasturtiums. Again, my crikeys, I can't believe that. The other thing I also have done so far, I've actually was a battery that was actually being placed right over the hot windowsill, so I had to really place the battery in a really cool spot. So yeah, I just hope that the battery doesn't catch fire or explode. Yeah, I just really hope so. I did the right thing, of course, just to evacuate all things which might be dangerous in hot weather, like, batteries and things like that. They can really explode and catch fire and probably kill me and also my stuff, which is not very good to know. But anyway, the nasturtiums. Okay, so we've got two nasturtium hanging baskets. I suppose this one here is probably the nicest because I can start to see how big and tall they are like, although I am starting to see big clumps of aphids in my backyard garden, which is actually not a really great thing to see. Quite curiously, if I pick up a large clump, I can start to see there's actually quite a lot of aphids everywhere. I'm pretty sure they might be dying of heat. Very interesting. I mean, who knows about that? I can also start to see some flowers. Again, they are being attacked by aphids. Quite interesting when you think about it. And there's a lot of ambulances here because of heat-related deaths and illnesses. It's not the nicest thing to think about. But yes, we've got a lot of nasturtiums in hanging baskets. Quite interestingly, they're going really nicely, and when I actually first planted my hanging basket nasturtiums, at first glance they were not going to really work well because of how droopy they looked when I rooted them in these hanging baskets. But luckily enough, I'd made the privilege to try and basically support these guys, and yes, look at that, they are basically growing like mad. Hopefully the honeybees and insects will come along and buzz around and also pollinate the flowers that the nasturtiums have been producing later on in the year. And let's go back into what my back garden has produced so far. Of course, this is the main powerhouse of this, and yes, it is it is stupidly hot, of course, as you can see of just how cloudless and bright the area is. Quite interestingly, hey, we are still being attacked by low pressure as well. I think we've got another low pressure system tomorrow and also Sunday, which will eventually clear away all that intensity, the heat and all. Right, so let me just talk over this. We've got a lot of potato plants, pumpkin seedlings. We've got a lot of big pumpkin seedlings, which is just nice to know. Fantastic. And yes, we've got nasturtiums, more big size nasturtiums. Really nice. And yes, I can start to see a nasturtium flower that actually appears to be in direct sunlight. And yeah, there's a lot of bees, lots and lots of bees and pigeons, because I can hear buzzing, I can hear cooing sounds. It all seems very nice to know. I don't know why I'm saying the word very many times, I think. Okay, so we've got a very bright looking, I think it's a reddish orangey looking scarlety nasturtium. We've got an orange coloured nasturtium flower, which looks like that. Okay, so that looks fairly nice. It looks very nice to know. Quite interesting. I'm actually starting to see another attack from the nasturtiums, and it looks like we're getting some very good signs that the nasturtiums are going to grow absolutely well. And so will these sunflowers. I'll tell you what, these sunflowers are no longer seedlings because I can start to see that they are creating their sunflower heads. I did manage to water these guys in the morning, of course. Actually, yes, around yesterday evening and also today in the morning. I will have to water these guys again because the soil is starting to get parched over and over and over again. Midday sun, obviously it's sort of surprising that the extreme heats that I'm feeling at the moment is so equivalent of just feeling like, hey, I'm pretty much stuck in the middle of Malaysia, the rainforest, when it's actually more like a savanna. It really is stupidly hot. Coming from the Sahara, that's really unprecedented. And I mean, look at these potatoes. They have also grown so extensively tall, like never ever before. And so is that nasturtium. In fact, there's actually quite a lot of nasturtiums, in particular the juvenile seedlings and the baby seedlings. They have been straightforward clutched together. Strangely enough, it looks like that they have been, squeezed in for some reason. And as you can see, hey, wow, can you believe this? My backyard garden is straightforward being clutched up by nasturtiums and potatoes. That is just absolutely extraordinary. Any aphid destruction, apart from here, I guess. Although there might be some, that's what I'm making for this video. And what is that plant there? I've got no idea whether the flipping hell is that plant here. Made sure I did plant these in the shade. Most of my plant pot plants, the pumpkin seedlings, they've been doing very, very nicely. And I've also been planting onions as well. A nice, good onion seedling. I'll go and get the watering can and I'll try and water these guys even more. Maybe just after the making of this video, because I want to try and be very wise and be very careful, especially with the dangerously hot sun at the moment. And yes, I always tend to find the most natural piece of shading. Thank goodness I didn't swear. And it's either the hedgerows or either any tree as far as I can go. Fairly nice to know. What is also interesting is that, hey, if I go ahead and trek through, and I know I'm going to be scorched by the deadly sunlight. Oh, wait, there's another sunflower seedling here, eh? I nearly forgot, didn't I? That's quite crazy. And amazingly, we've got a lot of, like, white butterflies. And, I mean, they do look a lot, but in reality, they actually are dying. That's not great to know. But anyways, oh, I just saw a strawberry that has started to turn really, really ripe thanks to the hot weather. That's very nice to know. Right, we've got calendula seedlings. Okay, so here's a very interesting mix of calendula seedlings. I'm starting to see some good aspects and also bad aspects of what's just happened to my backyard garden. Of course, this one here has died off really quickly because of the summer heat. Unusual summer heat. It's a little bit like if you go back, wow. I think there was a giant bee that was actually flying past by me. Buzz off. That's what I could probably say, hey? Okay, we've got the nasturtiums, of course. I've talked about these. Yeah, very nice to know. It's very interesting to see why this hot weather event... And yes, I've accidentally killed my cornflower seedling. That wasn't great about that. I actually just stepped up by accident. Oh, man, what is going on with me? I feel like... Don't worry, I've still got more spares to contend with. Maybe I need to look where I'm going for the time being, hey. Whew, man, the heat is just so stifling. I can also start to see how cranky and angry that sun is. It really is such a hot and humid day. Crikey Charlies, give me a flippin' break. At least I won't rant in this part of the video, hey. That could be a really good summer house, couldn't it? And as I'm trekking through, I can start to see, yes, that calendula flower is actually going to really shrivel out so quickly. I think it will, because obviously the summer heat is drying up so fast. Although I could probably deadhead this thing to attract more flower heads if I want to. Same with the other calendulas, they are all around, and there was a coughing sound. And yes, that is very amazing to see. All sorts of nasturtiums and calendulas. I can see a big-sized nasturtium that actually looks pretty small because of, hey, I did trim out most of the leaves because, hey, some of them were turning a little bit yellow. The yellowing of the leaves does sort of make me think, has autumn finally arrived? Well, it certainly has, but then, hey, this is a concern. This is a little bit like when hot, dry spells of weather appear during summer at the most intense or at the most prolonged periods of time, you get a phenomenon called the false autumn period. And we had things like that during 2025 and 2022. I think, and also 2018, that was actually before when I started to become a YouTube creator. Who's coughing on the background? Crikeys. Anyways, with that being said, we've got more calendulas. Most of these are going to be smaller flowers. More of the, there's actually quite a lot of smaller, plants and things. Oh, that's interesting. Let me just have a look at this flower bed. I know it's been filled up with a lot of residues of rainwater. Thank goodness, everything is totally survived. It looks like it's turned into a little bit of a pond. My crikey Charlies, I did not expect this area here to be a little bit like a teeny tiny wetland. That's quite interesting. And for some reason, as I've been watering my backyard garden, for some reason it actually has turned into a little pond. And it's actually kind of bad, because you know why? Guess living inside this section here. Inside there, if you look very carefully, is mosquito larvae. Now, that is a very hazardous sign. Obviously, the water is very still. Obviously, that might not be a very good thing to really see some mosquitoes on that nasturtium tub. I will have to probably either clear this away or just leave it, I suppose, I don't know, maybe until when the weather gets a bit cooler, I think. Because what is going on with all these mosquitoes? Well, I can just leave it as it is. That's what I can do. Maybe just leave it as it is, just for the plants to really feed for themselves. And even more interestingly, despite being the fact it's been quite a relatively hot and dry day, look at how this nasturtium has decided to build its own roots on that flower bed. That is actually something I've never noticed. Never ever noticed have I seen such a phenomenon like this in my backyard garden, which is actually very wonderful to know. Okay, so we've got another set of calendula flowers, which is very, very nice. We've got some pumpkin seedlings. What's with the coughing sounds? Dang it. I think I need to water that bunch of calendula seedlings. They look like they've been neglected, but hey. Oh, coughs and sneezes spread diseases. Well, not at this time of the year, obviously. Anyways, so it could be hay fever. I'm pretty sure it could be hay fever. I don't know. Another sunflower seedling. That one there is actually doing better than, I suppose, let's just say, wow, hey, look at that sunflower seedling right here. That is just, I shouldn't call them seedlings because they're already mature plants or flowers, I suppose, hey? Yeah, I don't know why sunflowers tend to really, really fast. I've got no idea why, but at least I've planted them super, super well at the best of times. And hey, it's really good to know that the sunflowers have started to really popped out so fast. Who knows, I might get an early blossom, an early bloom, a big size bloom of sunflowers later on this year because of the heat wave that we're just having at the moment. And my big clever strategy is to water them early in the morning twice and again in the evening. Quite interesting, isn't it? Okay, so we've got more. Yes, I've been talking about the nasturtiums and the calendulas, haven't I? Right, apart from the calendulas, which have been growing so pretty well, including this one right here, which actually has started to, again, more coughing sounds. What is that thing there? What is that? What is that thing there? Is that supposed to be a blossom, or maybe it might have been failed because of the hot weather that we've just had? Or was it something else? I have no idea what that is. What is that head supposed to be? Can anybody explain to me what the hell is that head supposed to be like? I'm not quite too sure. Maybe I need to try and get rid of it and just deadhead that plant to pretty much prolong the flowering period. That could probably work. And luckily enough, yes, thank goodness, it's going to be much more of a longer but dangerous one because I'm stuck in the hot weather event, obviously. Okay, so we've got more calendula. This one here is actually blossoming. Well, it's not blossoming at the moment, but it's about to blossom sometime. But luckily enough, I planted these guys in the shade just because it's way too hot. I did not know that the summer of 2026 was going to be fairly. I didn't expect the unprecedentedness of how hot it has been so far this week. It is absolutely unusual to really withstand, temperatures that it's crazy. Up to about 36 degrees Celsius. And I mean, why have they been straightforward stuck within that rut of being around in that Saharan air, which is just absolutely crazy? We've got more strawberry plants. Okay, I've got one fresh. Oh my goodness me, look at that strawberry. This is definitely the nicest. I might as well give this one a nice taste. The best thing about the hot weather, it produces the sweetest and the juiciest of all fruits. That is amazing. But then the most faffy sort of thing that you need to do with strawberry plants, I'm saying faff because that's how, British people seem to use that weird slang. I don't seem to use any Australianisms or Australianisms. I don't know why. The one fumbling and bumbling thing you need to really do is that when you're looking after strawberries, especially on a hot day, detrimental, isn't it, on a hot day, water them frequently. It's best to water them just like any other plant. And of course, there's more large-sized pumpkins. I mean, look at the pumpkins. They are basically doing very well. And I tell you what, by the time when this week is over, I'm pretty sure their growing process might probably slow down. But I tell you what, hey, it's been amazing. The amount of pumpkins I'm just growing, the number of pumpkin seedlings I've just grown so far, transplanting them earlier than usual, I'd say, hey, it's so fantastic. And actually planting earlier than usual, that's actually fantastic. And I'm sweating here because of the heat, and oh my crockies me. Oh my gosh, the humidity is super unprecedented. I don't know what to really say, but that is so unprecedentedly hot. So unprecedented. Right. I don't know about you, guys, but the heat is almost too much for me. It's not like going back to Malaysia. It's more like going back to Bangkok in Thailand. I have to be very careful what I'm saying here, but at least Bangkok is a very, let's just say placid word, because it refers to a popular destination, obviously. Got more nasturtiums right here, okay, and there's more nasturtiums, including this one here, that big lug there. I mean, it has blossomed, quite a lot of flowers, but it's also saffron. Look at the green leaves. I mean, that one there. And when I start to see leaves curl like that, that's a sign that this plant might be straightforward on the brink of dying out because of the extreme heat that it's facing upon. Not good to know. But we've got a lot of flowers, a lot of flower blossoms here. So one thing I can do is I could probably... What's with the coughing sounds? Again, don't worry about the coughing sounds. I could probably deadhead these leaves to make way for some new, fresh green leaves, which will be a very perfect way to do so. And there's something prickly right behind me. I think it's blackberry. Not very good to know. It's just very dangerous. I'm going to have to probably grab my secateurs or a pair of pliers or sikers to try and cut these nasty... Again, what is going on with my backyard garden? I mean, I thought I got rid of these things, but they're now starting to grow AWOL. This is just flipping... It's just flipping stupid. I don't know what's going on here. It's so unsafe. It's so monstrously unsafe. Right, I've got a big white butterfly here, I have to say that's a very central pollinator. I don't know what's it doing to the vegetation that I've just planted so far. Okay, that butterfly is flying like mad. Nice looking onion, very good looking onion. Okay, a nice big chunky sized pumpkin seedling as well. Now the one thing about pumpkin seedlings is that, like the nasturtiums, they will tend to grow massively and wide, but I'm pretty sure that might be like, thrice the size of that of a nasturtium, or maybe larger than. I think the troublesome part about keeping pumpkin seedlings is you need to grow a very large size. And I think that's one of the biggest bugbears when it comes to buying pumpkins, isn't it? So, with that being said, it is what it is. I'm just going to go and have a bit of a look and see what else is here and or there at times, given of just how hot it has been. There's another calendula seedling. I'll tell you what, I mean, I've talked about this one here, but that one there is probably going to look like it's going to blossom. And actually, look at this. 2 flower heads. 2 flower buds. That is amazing. I'm just seeing that calendula thing. which is just pretty cool. I can't see any other strawberry flowers or other crops like that, because obviously it's still a bit too small. I think when you get strawberry crops in your first year, you tend to get the smaller stages, but then on the following year you might get probably more. And most importantly, I've been filling up a lot of like, oh, okay, they've been dried up. It feels like that this one here has been dried up. Luckily enough, I did try and feed the birds and the cats. Well, actually, I did attract the birds and the cats some water. Luckily enough, that was a very good thing to do, because I should probably clean this up again. What I like to do, I'll try and do my best to basically wash these guys and probably you know, put some more fresh non-chlorinated water for the birds and the other animals to really drink, because it is a very good thing to do, to try and, like, you know, make up the most of what I've got so far. And I'm doing it in a very rightful way to try and, I don't know what to really say, hey, but I'm doing it as a massive favor, just because I'm trying to save this planet. Obviously, this planet is turning into a complete towering inferno. It's not very good, and in so many ways, hey, I need a straightforward manage my own ways and see how housing is doing at the moment, because it feels like that with this hot, stifling weather here at the moment, it's not looking very great. Oh man, what in a flippin' challenging time that we're in at the moment. But I've got some fresh banana peels from the rubbish piles, rubbish bins as I like to call it. Very, very nice. I actually did chuck out some of these because I want to try and, you know, basically let the banana peel skins, or the banana skin peels, what we're going to call them, banana skins, banana peels, we're gonna, basically I can just leave them for about more than 8 hours, and then after that I can pretty much put them underneath the soil and put some compost on the top and make them pretty much a great spot for plants. Wouldn't that be great, eh? Well, what I will do, I'm going to pretty much sign off here, eh, because it is getting really hot. I think that's going to be about it for today. So what I will do, and again, luckily enough, that will be the last time I'll be hearing that guy coughing again. Anyways, if you really enjoyed in this flipping long gardening tour around, actually I forgot to mention about there's morning glory flowers here, the white ones, the ones which are part of the nightshade family, or have I just misnamed them? And then there's also white roses as well too, and they are straightforward dying in the heat. Well, I suppose nature is dying in the heat, I'm afraid. That's one thing's for sure. I will have to play my part. Oh, that's interesting. Can you see what else is growing? Blackberries. Love them or hate them. I don't like their spikiness, but they do produce some really great fruit. That will be a thing from, like, let's just say summer and then autumn and possibly early winter. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a good, massive crop yield of blackberries. Man, the pollinators really love that. Anyways, I should probably leave this video here because it is barbecuing outside, eh? It is absolutely melting. It is absolutely... I mean, what's going on? This day has turned into a tower inferno, so I should probably start to leave this video here before I'm cooking hot. Please give this video a very good like, subscribe for more like videos in the future, and as always, thanks so much for watching, stay cool and stay hydrated, and bye for now. And most importantly, I have also placed sun cream on my skin, entirely. Again, thank you very much, stay cool and stay hydrated again, and bye for now.